Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Shane Niblock. I'm a property investor and also run an award-winning e-commerce company. So for this video here, what I'm going to be doing is showing you the buy, refurbish, refinance model and showing you three houses I own, but you're actually at those three stages: buy, refurbish and refinance. So I think this is really good. This is a strategy which I've used to help build my portfolio to over £1 million, and it's really good to show people exactly what to be doing here and what to be looking out for. So for this house here, this is actually the buy stage. It's recently just purchased, and so I'm going to be showing you some of the things within it which to keep an eye out for, and sort of understanding what you should be looking for. And particularly at this stage, you're excited, you want to get started, you want to get into it, you want to really get in, but it's important to be planning, figure it out and take your time. So big things to be looking out for just before you start this here is understanding the selling prices of houses in the area, what the people are like in the area. Are they young professionals? Are they maybe students? These type of things here. Also understanding sort of the rent in the area, what's the selling price in that there. So it's really good to understand this. So when we're going through like this house here, I'm going to be pointing out a couple of things that I'm looking out for and which would be really good for you to keep an eye on too. So let's get started. So the first thing you notice in here is that it's actually a deceptively big room. But I think with all these properties I seem to buy is magnolia. Magnolia for a lot of these houses is very, very common. But do you want to live in a magnolia house? No. So that's going to be one of the things you're instantly looking at. Does this house need updated in terms of colours and paints? 99% of the time it's going to be a yes. So it's really good to keep an eye out for that. One thing I really love about this house here is there's a couple of like really cool features. You can see little sort of decoration features that have been built into the house like these, and also just above us here. That is one of my favorite bits of this house here. And sort of when I'm looking at those elements like that, there is, I know as a tenant, or hypothetically if I was to flip this house, I want those features there. So what can I do to really show those features off? Because again, you have to remember this house will be going onto the market. It will be again shown amongst maybe 100 houses, let's say. So what can you do to make your house stand out, either to a possible tenant or to a possible purchaser? So that's a couple of things when you're looking and viewing houses, and when you buy your house, what can you do to make it stand out amongst the rest, whether it's through staging or through highlighting features like we just pointed out there. So we're going to go into the living room in here. Now this is very stereotypical of houses in the area. You can see sort of a lot of the oak ceilings in here, and varnished oak ceilings, and again bay windows which are really nice, and it always tends to be quite big airy rooms. But as you can see here, we'll go over and we'll have a look at the bay windows. One of the issues with a lot of bay windows is it can have damp amongst it. So you can see along here, when your hand starts to run there, there's bits all starting to crumble off. That it's likely a sign of damp, and you can see that can be caused by a number of things. Could be a failure, could be, in this case here, chimney issues, which we're aware of. So it's about getting those little things, understanding what those things are. Now, that can be a case of having your builder do it, or if you have experience yourself, you can figure that one out. But it is really important, you need to get that sorted, and that will be one of the first things you should be looking to do, if not the first thing you should be looking to do. Thankfully for this house here, I know they look a bit dirty, but these are all fairly new windows. So again, that's really good, because again, windows, particularly when you're getting it valued and you're getting your EPC, is one of the things they look at. So making sure your windows are new and they're in good condition can really help. So again, coming through here, this is another quite nice feature. As you can see, it needs updated, but we'll be able to do that there, get that looking fresh. And again, those are one of the things I'm looking at, going like, if I'm to live here, what do I want? And particularly as someone who spends a lot of time in properties, they see a lot of different things, stuff like that really stands out. So to help make that stand out, what can we do? Do we repoint some of the brickwork in there? Do we just take it away? What's the most cost-effective measure to do these things and to really make this house stand out? So we're going in here, and again, everyone always says the kitchen's the heart of the house. And this is maybe a heart that isn't working too well at the minute. So it's actually quite small. It's quite cramped at the minute. Again, not the best colours you would want in a house. And it's certainly not one, if I was living here, I particularly want. So one of the things when you're at this buy stage, you should be looking at is, what can I do to update this kitchen? So again, things might be coming to it, for example, is changing everything over to this side. So you might have, for example, moving your sink over. So it's your sink and oven over there. How much is that going to cost you? What can I do to brighten it up? Now, thankfully, to have really good kitchens do not cost the same amount of money as they used to. So you're actually able to get a really nice kitchen a bit cheaper, but find a builder who knows what they're doing, who's maybe done a couple of kitchens before. This is where their expertise really can come in, because they'll be able to look at stuff here, tell you, like, you might be able to need to move pipes there, how you can make the most of a room, and just those little touches, you'd be surprised how much they make and can make a difference. And again, one of the things I'm consciously aware of, and what you should be looking at as well and thinking about at this stage, is the brightness. So this is actually a bit more of a brighter room than it seems at the minute, but it's not the brightest. It actually won't be as bright as the house you'll see at the end stage we're going to show you. So when I'm looking at this house, I'm instantly thinking of colours. So what colours can I use in this kitchen to keep it brighter? So again, I will have to go for lighter colours, which means it's probably going to be your whites or your light greys. And doing those little things like that there and thinking about it at this early stage helps your builders and helps you start to think of what this house will look like at the end and cost it's going to be. So we're going to head outside and just see a bit of the courtyard in here. Getting a bit of an idea of, again, one of the things I look for. So for me personally, and you'll see again at the end stage, is I'm looking for places of where is there a good area to spend time in? Like, do you want to go out here and stuff like that there? Do you want to imagine, can you imagine having a beer, barbecue, or if you're a girl, having your girls over and stuff like that there? Have it inviting. So again, you can see here, they've kind of half painted, half plastered some of the walls, but it's not the brightest. It hasn't maybe been done in a while. So again, this is going to be one of the costs I personally would incur. Not everyone always does, but how can we paint this to make it brighter? How much is it going to cost? Where do we paint up to? And again, one of the things you should be looking at is your guttering. As we can see here, it's not the oldest guttering, but will this need replaced? Likelihood is yes. I've actually already had people around. I know this actually will need replaced. So it's those little things there which you don't seem to realise, which a lot of people maybe don't realise can cost money. And these couple of £100 here and there can add up. So always be thinking about when you're going through this here about those little things, because that can actually make or break your profit and your money at the end of the day. So that's kind of when you're out here, what I would be personally looking for. We're actually now going to go up to the middle floor in this house here, where there's 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and we can talk about it up there. So this is actually the bathroom of this house, and it's actually relatively new bathroom, so you won't always find them in this way, but there's a couple of things here I can point out to you, which is good to sort of see when you're purchasing and things to keep an eye on, to be aware of. So in here, this is sort of very stereotypical of your terrace properties. It's going to be sort of a bath shower. Now, for me, sometimes I take these out, particularly if it's a small bathroom. The reason why I do that there is when you take it out, it creates a bigger feel of a bathroom, and it'll have a really nice modern shower. For this is actually quite a big bathroom. It looks fairly modern, so it's quite good in that sense. And you can see they've added, for example, the toilet still has the labels on it. Sink still has the label on it. So these are all fairly new, and you can tell maybe for selling, they've updated it slightly to make it good. That's something you should actually be aware of when you're in houses, is often you will find that they have just maybe whitewashed the house. So that's usually maybe a sign they're trying to hide something, or maybe there's something wrong. So particularly when the house has just been freshly painted white, always be slightly conscious of that there, that they may be trying to hide 1 or 2 things. So this here house has been done, sorry, this bathroom here has been done a bit DIY style. You can see things aren't particularly smooth. If you look in along here, you can see that's all quite loose. There's gaps in there. A lot of sort of this here, it's just not been done to what you would hope a really high level professional would do. You can see a lot of the silicone is still about. And if we actually look behind the door here, you can see trims of stuff amongst the door. Just hasn't been finished to what you would expect. So particularly for me, one of the things I'll be looking to do is get a really good plumber and builder in to actually not necessarily completely change the bathroom, but rip out a lot of the basically crap work they've done, fix it up and actually make it look a lot good. But thankfully this house, because this is a fairly new bathroom, the actual bathroom cost isn't going to be that much. It is just a modernisation rather than a total renovation and refurb of the bathroom, so that's always a plus. So we're then going to go into the bedrooms on the middle floor, which is the master and the main guest bedroom. So we'll start off in the master, which is here. So again, really big room, as you can see, and beautiful big room, nice big windows again, which are new. And the tip for you here, if you're looking out, this is one of the things I've been told by some of my window fitters, is when you're looking at a new house and you're trying to figure out whether the windows have been fitted, is always look for these points here. As you can see, they're nice and clear, and that's actually a sign when they're clear that the windows have been newly fitted. So that's a really good tip, and that allows you then to know, right, I don't need to change the windows. So that there can save you money. So for me, one of the things you're starting to see, which is quite common, now we're not going to be doing it in this, but if you've got a smaller bedroom than this here, is actually taking away the chimney stack internally. Because you can see that we create a bit more room, particularly if it's a small bedroom. Thankfully, we don't need to do that here. And it actually means that this space in between here actually becomes a lot more usable. So those just little things like that there are good. Now, depending on your house, depending on the structure of the house and structure of the chimney, etc., costs can vary, but let's say you usually say £1,500 to £2,000 to get that taken away. And actually does make a difference, because just making that room more appealing and bigger can really make a difference. So for me, one of the things I'm also looking for here is I'm going to be when I'm walking actually on the floor, see if it's spongy, see if it feels there's dips or anything like that there. Thankfully in this house you can actually tell we did rip up a bit of the carpet to have a really good look at it. But to see the condition of the floor, particularly a lot of these older houses are going to be heavily carpeted, and that's just the way it was done those days. So it's try to get a really good understanding of what's actually underneath when you are purchasing it, and it's just those little bits like that there. Particularly for the buy, refurbish, refinance, you're always going to be looking at houses that aren't going to be in the best conditions, let's be honest. So it's these little things when you're running through the house to be consciously aware of, because again, your builder will be looking to fix that there, and being aware of these costs, like I keep on saying, is really important, because you're going to have always little costs coming in. So being aware of it and consciously, actively, when you're walking around, feeling, which is always a weird thing to do, but trying to be aware of those things. So we'll go into the second bedroom, guest bedroom. So thankfully for us, we probably won't need to do too much reconfiguration of the rooms. But again, as you can see, there's that internal chimney stack. Again, very common in these style of terraced houses. So if you needed to take it away to create a bit bigger room, that's fine. You'll see builders like to hit walls, check what's beneath it and check what type of material. As you can see, checking and making sure it's good and what particular type of it's made of, so they can know what to do and how to fix it if there's any issues. So another tip I will give you is, see when you're actually in this type of property, and particularly the back bedroom, often you'll find at some stage they've extended the kitchen. Most kitchens might have a flat roof. So when we're looking outside of the window, That's one of the things you can be aware of. Now this one doesn't have it, but imagine it's a flat roof there. You can have a good idea and have a look at the state of what that roof might be. Often you find flat roofs maybe haven't been done right, or they're going to fail or could fail in the next couple of years. So when you're actually at a house, have a good look out the back bedroom, have a look, see, is it a flat roof? What state's the flat roof in? Because that's something, when you don't have experience, it can be a big issue. But nowadays, particularly with new roofing materials and new textures, they're using the new materials actually on it, they're not really as much of an issue. So you can get a good roofer in that will just replace the material, put some insulation there, and can be done and will last years and years and years, thankfully. So we're going to go upstairs and have a look at the last bedroom in this house. And again, throughout this house, you'll have seen the builders started to rip the wallpaper off. Again, that's something you can't do when you're viewing it, unfortunately. But that's one of the things you should start to do when you actually get into the house. See what's beneath the wallpaper. Again, if it's been a rented property for a while, let's just say certain landlords may wallpaper over wallpaper over wallpaper. So actually getting beneath all of that there and understanding what you're going to need to do. Do you just rip all the wallpaper off and maybe have to replaster it, or is it something you can actually work with? So in this case here, we're going to have to rip all the wallpaper off throughout this. They haven't really been done well. It's starting to feel, so we're going to have nice fresh plastered walls, smooth walls, and that will help actually give the house a bigger feel, as well as much more modern and importantly a warm feel, which is again what the tenants are going to be looking for. And again, something I really advise at this stage here is actively be thinking of yourself as a tenant. Who is your tenant going to be? If you are the tenant, what are the things you're going to be looking for? And thinking, right, what's the things I can do here on this here? As well as also thinking, importantly, how much it's going to cost you, which is always the annoying bit. So this is actually, like I said, a deceptively big house, and it's a really, again, nice double bedroom. So really nice bedroom, quite big, and again, really nice and airy and warm. But again, I'm looking here, for me at this stage, I'm looking at the floor. Why have they carpeted over nice grey floor? And what you'll find is actually over here in the corner is it was done DIY style. They've actually not laid the floor properly. What we discovered is that they didn't even brush or hoover up the floor. So it's actually all dirt underneath the floorboards here. So yeah, it's all going to need to be lifted. We're going to have to put new flooring down. So they're actually, when you're looking through a house, it can be really simple problems, really annoying problems, but really simple problems like that there, which actually isn't going to cost as much as you fear. But until sometimes you rip stuff up, you're not going to know what the actual issue is. Thankfully, there wasn't a big issue here. So again, for this house here, it's been done, a lot of the stuff here has been done DIY. You might not be able to tell too well in the video, but the plastering here has not been done well, so we're going to probably need to replaster even this room here. There's a lot of it's just not smooth, it's just not good. So when you're actually then selling it on or getting it valued through your refinance bit, those little things, you'd be surprised how much it matters. So we're going to have to do that there and fix a lot of the DIY issues within this house. So yeah, that is this house shown to you. We're then going to move on to the refurb stage, which is really cool, and you'll be able to see kind of what you should be thinking about doing and then on sort of what your builders will be doing. So it's almost at the second fix stage. So we're just about, I believe the walls have just been plastered. So it's currently drying out, and you'll be able to see sort of what stage you're there, and we'll be able to talk through some of the things we've done there and some of the things we're going to look to do to then get it on to what would be the final stage, which is where we look to then either sell the house on if we decide we're going to, or particularly in this video, because we're talking about BRR process, your refinance stage, and where you're starting to get tenants in and you actually start to get money in, which was always the good part. So we'll go see you at the house then.